여러분 안녕하세요. 주말 잘 지냈어요? 네, 공부 많이 했어요. Sorry, but good morning. And let's see, it's near the end of the year. It's what do you call it? Holiday week. Christmas is coming up. I think it's Hanukkah still going on, and then I don't know how Kwanzaa works. Sorry about that, but happy whatever you celebrate. And so it's the end of the year, right? And we had UFC Fight Night, Thompson versus Neal. I think it's like Fight Night 17 at the Apex Center in Las Vegas. There was also some Chael Sonnen submission underground, which was pretty. It was pretty good. I mean, grappling it can be tedious or boring, I guess, to watch for a lot of people. But at that high level, especially this guy. I say this guy, Mason Fowler. He's the SUG champ. He's the submission underground champ. He won, I think, Pan Ams. He won something else, world or something. But he's a fucking beast. Obviously, he's winning everything. And I'll get into it. But he is fucking incredible to watch. And I, I, I don't know. It's entertaining to me. If you're not into grappling, I would say if you want to check it out, definitely watch him. Cause yeah, like I said, I'll get into it. But he's Mason Fowler. He's definitely fucking a great guy to watch for grappling. But so there's those two events that went on. I think the next submission underground is in March, and this was the last UFC event for 2020. So great year of fights. I mean, there's the shutdown in the beginning of the year, but once they got back, they had to make their quota to get their ESPN money. So there was fights every fucking weekend. At the beginning, I think that there's like multiple fight nights plus the Contender Series was going on. Oh, great fucking year of fights. And also, I guess a side note, I had some constructive criticism that I say too much. So, yeah, I'm working on it, man. Jeez. And also, he said not to. My buddy was telling me not to. It's hard for him to pay attention to, I guess, podcasts or speeches or anything with people that say a lot and there's lots of pauses, and asked me if it was my first go. And I was like, yeah, I sit down and then I fucking let it rip. I'm kind of, I mean, really, the way I started doing this was I wanted it, just be straightforward. Because there's some, like YouTube, I can't remember the dude's name. He's pretty big. Philip DeFranco, maybe? He does put like news reports or some shit like that. But I noticed there's some other channels too, and it's like you're watching and it's you can tell they edit it because like they chop it in between because he chops out, excuse me, his pauses and his ums and the little dead air or whatever, so that it runs through. And I don't know, there's something about that bugs me. It's like to me it's really insincere is the word I'm thinking of. And I get it, it's like produced, it's production value or whatever, but yeah, to me I don't like that like real rehearsed kind of feel. And that's just me, that's me personally. And this is my thing, so I'm gonna do it my way. And sorry, I mean, not sorry if it's painful, but yeah, it's painful for me to fucking, I think I've said it before, try to interpret my own brain for everybody to understand it. So I'm just fucking talking about shit that I like, and that's what I'm doing. But yeah, no. No, I appreciated the feedback because one, at least at least I know he listened a little bit, and then also was uh, straightforward enough to be like, hey, this is the thing that I noticed or my takeaway, etc. But well, there it is. You always say but. Uh, so yeah, I mean, the editing thing. I mean, I'm still gonna. I feel like I'm gonna do it the same way. It's just kind of. I feel like it's more. The only word I can think of sincere. There's another word I can't think of it. More genuine. Maybe that's what it is. More genuine. Just if it's kind of like to sound like a conversation, I guess. But something I did do, I did take notes, and I'm gonna try to follow my notes. So, my buddy, oh, you're welcome, or thank you, I guess, for your feedback. So I'll just get into it. So starting with the UFC fight night, the prelims. Was this guy? I was Giagos versus Minus. And the interesting thing about this fight was that Giagos, sorry, I don't know how to say his name. I can't remember where he's from either, but he took the fight on Wednesday. And so on Wednesday, he accepted the fight. I guess someone fell out for COVID or injury or something. And he took the fight accepted Wednesday, and was weighed in on Friday, and made weight, and then was fighting on Saturday. And long story short, he won. But so I mean, like, think about it. Like Wednesday morning, he didn't even know he was going to be fighting. Boom. Then Friday's weighing in, making weight. Saturday's fighting, and this fight, it went all 3 rounds. He won by a unanimous decision. But the interesting thing I noticed in his fight, this guy, I'm not sure if I've heard of him before or noticed him before, but I mean, notice him now. He strong. I think he has a wrestling background. He kept taking Minus down. Giagos did. He was throwing this. So like at the beginning, he did this. Like I see, he would throw an overhand right, and he was using his overhand right to transition to, and then he would change levels and do a double leg. So he was doing well, getting those takedowns, because and throwing that overhand right, he was throwing with good power, and so he had Minus defending against that and thinking about that. So he's threatened by that overhand right, and then he's able to go transition straight, change levels, go right into that double leg, and he's able to maintain top position through the once he got the takedown, he's able to maintain top position. And the only thing, and the commentators even can't remember which one, but they talked about it, how he didn't I guess he's not really a jiu-jitsu guy. He wasn't chasing any submissions. There were some that were there for him, because he was dominating the positions, and he was getting the positions, but he wasn't going for any submissions. Like, there's a couple times when he was like, he had a arm triangle. A lot of the time, he was getting head control, and then control the head, and then even an arm. He was in great position for armbar, but he didn't. But long story short, he was able to. He won by he got. What did I say already? Unanimous decision. So yeah, interesting guy, Giagos. Keep on. So yeah, he did that with, only couple days notice. So it'd be interesting to see him with fully prepped. He'll do well. Next up, Jimmy Flick. Yeah, fucking. So this guy, I think he was like an LFA champ. He made it. He got his contract through the Contender Series, and the guy he fought. Damn, I wish I remembered the dude's name. I should have went back and looked. But that fight, so they went all 3 rounds, and the guy he had him in. What's an armbar? He just kept rolling through submissions. Jimmy Flick did. He went into one submission, and the guy fought. It was incredible the way this kid fought out. There's a couple of them there. It was like, it looked like anybody else would have just fucking gave up or tapped or been submitted, but he gritted his way through. So Flick's opponent in the Contender Series, he would fight through. Great defense. Escape one submission, and Flick would roll right into another, like from a triangle to an armbar and then back into, then take his back and then go to a rear naked choke. He was just continuously rolling from one submission attempt to the other, and I don't remember the numbers, but it was an incredible one. But it was like that. He was just flowing from one one submission attack to another, and then credit to the other guy to his opponent, who kept fighting out of each one. So I was already going into this fight, Flick against Cody Durden. Durden is I guess 2-time state champ, and I already had him to win. Excuse me. And I was a little hesitant because I knew this wrestler against jiu-jitsu guy. So there's always that debate about grappling versus wrestling versus jiu-jitsu. So I was like, all right, maybe this guy's a great wrestler. It might be hard for Flick to even get him down or get into position to attack a submission. But I mean, Flick, he's incredible at his submission game. So I was like, yeah, I was betting on him to win that one. And he came out. So I guess round one, they both come out, and Durden ends up taking Flick's back and takes him down, and Flick, he gets back up, and he was throwing, so a little bit before the ending exchange, he threw a left kick, high kick. He threw a combo with the kick and landed the kick, and then here when he got up, he threw it again, but this time when he kicked, Durden caught his leg. So Flick throws his left leg up, Durden catches it with his right arm, and Flick jumps into a try. He jumps up and throws his right leg over his left ankle that's already up around the dude's neck because he caught it. So he jumps into a fucking triangle and fucking taps him out from pulls him down to the ground and into a triangle. It was fucking incredible. And because Durden was beating him on the feet, his striking, he was landing better. He was landing cleaner. He was landing more accurately, or he was landing more powerful and more accurately. So he was beating Flick on the feet, not terribly, but he was ahead of him. Like if they just stood on their feet striking the whole time, Durden was gonna beat him. And Flick, obviously he's great, 2-time state champ wrestler. So his his takedown defense was great. But then he made that one little mistake. He caught that leg kick, and Flick he jumped up, wrapped his head up in his legs, and tapped him out. It was incredible. It's definitely something to check out. So yeah, excited to see Flick continue and see how he does going forward. After that, Jamie Pickett and Tafon Chukwi, both Contender Series alum as well. And Tafon Chukwi had a great knockout on there. I guess some people are saying it was like the knockout of the Contender Series for this year, but I can't remember the dude he's fighting. I think a dude from like New Zealand or Australia, so a big Polynesian dude. And he was so the guy he kept Tafon would be throwing a combo, and this guy, he would always, after exchanges, he was ducking his head, he was ducking down into the right. He was to get away after each exchange, and I can't remember what it might have been into the third round, but Tafon, he got a read on that, the dude ducking to the right, and in one of the exchanges he threw a combo. The dude ducked to the right, and he fucking kicked him straight shin to chin, I think, like kicked him straight in the fucking head, and the dude was out. And then Jamie Pickett, he threw, I think it was like a 22 punch combo to knock the dude out that he was fighting. But it was just like, bwah, 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 bwah. It looked like a fucking video game, like almost like, what's that dude, E Honda, where he does like that one hand slap thing, but it was but it was just like, yeah, like, he was just walking for, it was 20, I think it was 22 or 25 is the number that's in my head, but like a 22 punch combo, just like bwap, 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 bwap. But like, I'm thinking how many punches that is, just landing him on this dude's head to knock TKO. But so coming this fight, I was excited about this one, but my money was on Tafon for this one. He's more power, and he's also thinking, because he showed in his fight where he knocked out that dude, that he thinks he plans out his strikes. He got the read on that guy, that he bends, he dips down to the right, and he got the read on that, and he fucking timed it perfectly. So I was leaning towards Tafon on this one, and so in the first round, yeah, they both come out, and the thing that I took note of was how calm Tafon looked. Like he was very focused and calm. He didn't look rattled or anything, like concentrated, and you could tell he looked like he had a plan. And Pickett ends up taking him down, but Tafon's able to he gets up pretty easily. Like, he gets taken down, but Tafon gets right back up. And he was throwing like a big thing I noticed, he's throwing a kicks behind his combos. So he do like a 1-2 and then rear kick. And he was hiding it, and he was hiding it well. So that kick was coming right behind the punch, and I was like, all right, one of these is gonna land. And so he comes out, he's striking well, and Pickett tries to take him down, and Tafon turns it into it. He's able to reverse it and take him down. Then the round ends. They go to round 2. They're doing the same thing, but Tafon, once they clench up, Tafon's doing a really good job of pushing Pickett to the fence, and then he's working the body. Like, he in the clinch, he's doing two or three. He's hitting the body 2 or 3 times as he's got him clenched up against the fence, and he'll hit him 2 or 3 times and then get out or go back in and hit him a couple more times, and working the body really well. And he was in the clinches, he was winning the clinches for like handedly, compared to Pickett. Pickett he would like throw 1 strike or something in response, but Tafon was just hit him 2 or 3 times to the body every time they clinched up. And but during one of those exchanges, Pickett did clear enough space, and he threw like a 4 or 5 punch combo, and 2 of them landed really like clean right on Tafon's chin. And the thing I noticed and that I liked about it was there from Tafon, because he was hurt. Like, because the first one, you could see it when it hit him, you could see that look in his eyes when he was like, ooh. But he gritted through. You could tell he's just biting down on this mouthpiece, and even though he was hurt, he maintained his posture and his feet. He didn't turn away or try to back up. He just maintained his space. He played it well, like trying to still presenting a threat to Pickett. But he was definitely hurt, and he backed up as Pickett was coming at him after those 2 hits. But then they move forward, and there's like a clash of heads right before the end of the round. So they clashed heads, the round ended, and then when they come back from commercial, Pickett is, complaining. They call the doctor in because Pickett's complaining about saying like it was an illegal headbutt. It was a head clash, but so he's saying it was a headbutt, and they call the doctor in and look at him, and you can see him like shaking it out. He's trying to complain, and I think even Michael Bisping is like, yeah, the doctor came in there, he looked at it, he said, you're good to go. And instead of like, but Pickett, I don't know, he kept trying to like signal to the judges and the ref like that. He was like, oh, it was a headbutt. It was a headbutt. It was like, hey, it was a head clash. That's behind you. You're going forward. The fight's in front of you. You gotta keep going, man. You know what I mean? but you could tell he was hurt, or maybe he was. Who really knows? Maybe he might not even know. But to me, from the outside looking in, it was kind of like it felt like he was looking for a way out. Like after that second round, he's like, all right, I didn't have the success that I thought I would, especially after when he threw that like 5-punch combo and 2 of them landed clean, and Tefon was hurt. But I'm sure Pickett felt like he was like, oh, I thought I was gonna get him out of there with that one, and then that forward motion, then they clashed heads, and then after that he was kind of like, fuck, I don't know, like I don't know if I can do that again to get this guy out of here, because he was beating me up against the fence the whole time, and then that was like really the only exchange where he won. So it kind of seems like he quit on himself, which was the opposite of, you know, what I liked about what I saw with Tefon when he got hit, because he had that look like, oh, he knew he got hit. You could tell he knew it hurt, but he is like, no, I'm in here to. This is what I'm in here to do, and I'm gonna finish. Pickett looked like, oh, I think I'm done. It's like he quit before the fight was over. That's just my outside looking in opinion, what it looked like to me. So then, oh yeah. So in round 3, Tefon ends up, he throws that same combo. It's like 2 punches, and with the rear kick coming behind it, and he lands one. Or actually, I think it was a kick to a punch. He threw a kick and a punch right behind the kick, and he dropped Pickett in the 3rd round. And then that was like it's like the most significant thing in the 3rd round, and unanimous decision goes to Tefon Chukwi, I think. And Chukwi or Chukwi, I don't know. I'm sorry, but yeah, excited to see that guy go, what he does going forward. Fight after that is Jillian Robertson. She was ranked at 13 versus Talia Santos, and I guess so. She was on the verge of either tying or surpassing Ronda Rousey for most submissions in women's MMA, or maybe women bantamweight. I don't know, but she was, on the verge. She wanted to submit Santos to make her like to make a submission record or something. So she's, great, known for her submissions. It's the point of saying that. And so, long story short, she loses. But, so I'm saying Santos looks stronger, and her the defense, her like jiu-jitsu defense was fucking on point. Like Robertson, she was attacking submissions the whole time, but Santos was able to defend against them. And then also when she got top position, I think in the beginning, one of the first exchanges, because they go to ground, Robertson's on the bottom, and she's attacking an arm bar. But Santos, so she's got her arm in there, but she's stacking on top of Robertson, and then she goes and puts her knee on top of her face, and she's able to get her arm out, and then she ends up in top position. And and that's how they got there in the first place. So they're clinched up against the fence, and then Robertson tries to jump into an arm bar, and then that's how she ended up in that position, because she had the arm, but Santos stacks her. She's defending, she stacks her, so she's getting the pressure off the arm, and then she puts her knee like straight on her face, and she's just sitting all her weight on her face, and Robertson has to let go of the arm to get to push the knee off of her face, and then Santos gets out, and then they roll back and forth, like they can. Robertson, she's continuing chasing submission. She's like threatening submissions the whole time, but then Santos gets on top, and she drops an elbow that cuts Robertson's nose, or I think like the bridge of her nose, like right between her eyes, right there, and just cuts her open. and that's like right at the end of round 1. So after that cut was bleeding in her face the whole time, and it was kind of similar. Just the rest of the fight, it was Robertson chasing submissions, threatening submissions, Santos successfully getting out of those, getting top position, and then striking from the top position. And I mean, that's like this. I don't know. That's like a simple summation of it, but it was competitive and good. It was great to watch the whole time, because it was like, you could tell Robertson, she was just a little bit behind, just a little bit. She was not as strong as Santos, and Santos' defense against the jiu-jitsu was a little bit further ahead. She was more successful at defending than Jillian was at attacking, and that gave her the ability to gain top position, and from top position she was dropping strikes the whole time too. And like in that first round, she chopped her fucking nose, the bridge of her nose open too, and that was bleeding down, because Jillian was on her back most of the time. It was bleeding right into her eyes, and even though she was on her back, she was attacking submissions the whole time. But like I said, Santos was not having it. She was getting out of all, like a lot of other people would have been done, especially that first one, that jumping arm bar that she did. But Santos just defended perfectly and then gained top position, and then threw strikes, made her pay for it every time. So I mean, it was a competitive fight. I think, let's see, Robertson was 13. Santos, I don't know if she was ranked. So, I mean, now she's going to be in there somewhere, top 10 maybe. After that was Win versus Arroyo. So this was I didn't realize it was a catchweight bout at first. I guess somebody opponent fell out, so they made a catchweight bout. Cause so Win is 5'6" and Arroyo is 6'3". Like, I was in there looking at him, and it made me think of the what were the David and Goliath matches back in like the first UFC, where there's like no weight classes, and it's just like, so it's like this little dude, he's 5'6", and Arroyo's 6'3", so that it just, I don't know, it's crazy to look at, because I was like, how's Win even gonna get to this dude's face? But because he's I can't remember, he's a wrestling background, I can't remember what exactly his credentials are, but he's a great wrestler. I guess he trains with DC too, and so he's able to get, so really the story of it was Win getting takedowns. He was able to just get takedowns. Arroyo would get up, he'd get another takedown. Arroyo would get up, just takedown after takedown. He's like, Arroyo was able to use his length, his reach against, dude 6'3", against Win, but Win was doing a good job of getting in, closing the distance. He got a couple strikes in there, but mostly what he was doing was getting those takedowns. Because even he'd get in there, he'd be able to take his bag, he'd pull him down to the ground, do a cutback or whatever, and he's able to take him down just at will, basically, over and over. And at round 2, you could tell Arroyo was tired, because he was just getting taken down to the ground, and get up, down to the ground, get up, down to the ground, up, over and over and over. So that was pretty much it. And Win wins. Then going to the next one, Sajara Eubanks versus Panty Kian. Damn, I don't know how to say her name. Kianzad. Sorry, Panty. So Sajara versus Panty, and so round 1, Sajara came out. She was she level changed right under one of the strikes. It was beautiful, double leg takedown. Then pulls Panty to the fence. She's inside. She just controls her, takes her back at the end of the round. So she was just controlling her the whole time. Round 2, Panty comes in. I think she might have get taken down once or twice, but she, for the most part, defends the takedowns and she's landing more strikes, and she's more accurate, more powerful. And so yeah, round two is, they're just going back and forth. It's basically her Panty stopping takedowns, and except for one or two, and then outstriking Sajara. Then round three, Panty completely takes over. She keeps it on the feet the whole time. Her striking is cleaner, and it goes to decision. And I think all three judges scored at 29-28. So Sajara got that first one obviously, and then Panty got the next two. Once she kind of figured out, she's like, all right, yeah, her game plan is going to be to take me down. I'm going to stop that, keep it on the feet, and she beat her on the feet. So Panty won that one. And then the feature preliminary bout, Showtime Pettis versus Alex Morono. And Anthony Pettis, former champ. I think champ WEC when it was WEC. Then he was champ in the UFC. Then he's had a little going back and forth since then. And I believe this was the last fight on his contract. And I'll get to that. But so yeah, going into this, I think it was his last fight. So he's gone from champ, and now he's the feature prelim. But it was great. Round one, he threw a kick and he slipped. He fell on his back. Morono capitalized on that, and he took him he was on the ground. He took him and controlled him for the whole first round till like right at the end. Pettis was able to get out and throw a couple strikes, and I think he even got a takedown right at the end of the first round. Morono tried to take him down, and Pettis reversed it and took him down like right at the end. But for the most part, Morono had ground control of him the whole first round. So going in the second one, they stayed on their feet, kept it on the feet. Pettis didn't put himself on the ground, and his striking looked great. He's throwing some spinny shit, I think, and so he was doing well there. He looked like what you expect out of Anthony Pettis, Showtime Pettis. Then round three, same thing. Morono goes for the takedown, but Pettis was good at, even though once he got taken down, he was good at getting his clear and getting his hips to the mat, so he could, and what do you call it? Like reverse the position and end up on top, and he'd get back on top, and then he would get back, and then right at the end of the round, he threw this beautiful. So it was like he threw a low kick, like a low leg kick, and then so with his right foot rear threw the low leg kick. Then with the same foot he spun. So he throws a kick, low kick, then he spins, and with the same foot and throws this wheel kick, and hits Morono in the head. So it's just like leg, spin, head. Oh shit. So it's cool. You gotta go back and look at it. So he goes, throws it, boom, hits him low, spins, hits him right in the fucking head, and it looked like he was gonna put him out, but and then he went to try to finish him, but it was like right at the end of the round. So he's not able to finish him, but he gets the unanimous decision. It's a 29-28. So kind of like with Eubanks, it was like he won, or Morono won that first round, and then Pettis, he got him this 2 and 3, and so yeah, so I think this was his last, the last fight on his contract, and for context also, so they're talking about, so I guess Dana White was saying that there's like 60 fighters getting released here at the end of the year. Big was oh man, oh yeah, fuck, how could I not? The Cuban muscle crisis. Yoel Romero, there we go. Yoel Romero, he got released. Rumble Johnson, obviously. Well, I guess this was before this. Spider-Man, Silva, Anderson Silva. But anyways, there's supposed to be like 60 total, and they said there's big names on there too. So everyone right now is kind of fighting for the jobs. This was like I said, Pettis' last fight in his contract. So the interesting thing, great to see him get that win. He called out Tony Ferguson, who, as we all know, just had that painful loss to Charles Oliveira. Even though he says he broke him mentally, Ferguson said he broke Oliveira mentally in that first round when Oliveira was bending his arm backwards, and then he had that fight before that with Justin where he just got pieced up. But he did have, he was on that 12 fight win streak, and then these last two were not good. And he has kind of a outspoken stance or relationship with the UFC, feeling like he hasn't got his proper dues and respect, and I'm sure he gets paid a lot. So I feel like with those two losses, 2 in a row, 2 devastating losses, he probably is one of the candidates for getting let go, because I'm sure Dana White feels like, you're not really a draw. You were on the last 2 fights and you talk a lot of shit to us. So I'm sure his head is probably on the chopping block. So it's interesting to see Pettis call out Tony Ferguson, it's also interesting because they had that fight before and didn't go well for Pettis, and so it's an interesting position that he's in. So Pettis' last fight in his contract, possibly going out, but he's coming off this win. He was a featured prelim, and he's calling out Ferguson, looks like he's on his way down, and it has that little, that rematch kind of, flavor or spin to it. So that's cool of him. So it's cool and smart, clever, because it's like, I feel like, obviously I would like to see that rematch, and I feel like it gives the UFC something to sell. Say, Pettis Ferguson 2, that's easy. Boom, that's an easy poster right there. Like, I could see that being a fight night for sure. And people, Pettis is well liked. He's a great personality. People like him. So I feel like that was a smart move. And also it's kind of a nice, like I don't know, like I don't know if show of respect or acknowledgement is the right term, but so it's like saying, hey, yeah, everyone's kind of like, to me, this is me interpreting it. It's kind of like saying, hey, everyone's counting Tony out. I still consider him, a competitor and a vet of the sport, and let's set this up, kind of thing. So I think that's fucking genius, smart move right there. So then we go into the main card. First fight was Greg Hardy, Prince of War versus Marcin Tybura. And I guess the story going into this was they're both, whoever wins would have the it's like the winning streak, heavyweight winning streak right now of 4 or whatever. And I did bet on Hardy. He's part of one of my parlays. So he came out round 1, looked fucking fantastic. His striking was crisp. He was very measured. He wasn't overcommitting. He wasn't just trying to throw bombs and then go in. His jab was looking good, and his fucking counters were looking great. He had his head movement, his footwork, heavyweight footwork, but he was fucking moving around. He was moving his head, and he was countering. He would throw a punch, and then he was setting up counters, trying to set traps. I was like, damn, he's fucking looking incredible. And I was like, yeah, and he was working over Tybura that first round. He defended it. Tybura tried to take him down, and then at one point, Hardy got Tybura against the fence, and he threw like 5 straight rights. He's like, bwop, 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 and then he would go in and then come out. I was like, man, he's looking good. He's gonna do well. But then I was looking at him. I was like, fuck, he's kind of sweaty. He looks like he's getting couldn't tell. He didn't look like he was breathing hard, but he was really sweaty. And Tybura looked fucking like a dry fucking towel. And he, so I was like, man, he's. I was like, we'll see how he holds up in the second round. I was like, but he's looking great. He was looking fucking crisp and clean. So then they go into the second round. Tybura takes him down, and then Hardy gives up. And that's how I can describe. I mean, like I said, it's me outside looking in, but it was. I saw a meme that summed it up perfectly. It said, Hardy defeated in second round via exhaustion. Which fucking summed it up perfectly. Like, he went 100%, I guess, in that first round. But he looked great. He looked fucking great in that first round. Then the second round comes out. I think he sort of defends one takedown, and then he gets taken down. And then once he's on the ground, he just covers up and then lays there. And Tybura's like... But, I mean, obviously, Tybura's like 260-pound dude also, so got a 250 plus man sitting on top of him, punching him in the head. So yeah, I get it, but also he's a fucking heavyweight too, and he was part of my gosh damn parlays. But so the first round he looked incredible, and then the second round he gave up. So I guess we'll see where he goes from here. I mean, he was on his way up. A lot of people were saying no, he'll never. He just doesn't have it to make it farther than he is, and I don't know, maybe he needs to get that cardio or asthma or whatever, I guess, under control to get it done. But anyway, so going from there, Marlon Moraes versus Rob Font, and at this point, like, Marlon Moraes, he's good, but I just, like, going into it, I was like, I feel like he's a dude that gives up. Like, I can't remember which fight it was. Fuck, who beat him, but it was kind of like he kind of quit on himself. And I mean, he had that fight with Aldo, where it looked like, where he won the decision, but it did look like Aldo won that fight. Everyone else thought, except for the judges, thought Aldo won that fight. And there was something about Marlon's speech at the end where he's like, yes, I know I win. The judges, they make the right decision. Although he's a great guy, blah, blah. But I don't know, the way he was talking, and like I keep saying, it's just me outside looking in. But the taste in my mouth about the way he was talking, I was looking at him like he knew he lost. And that's, maybe I'm just bitter off seen him before, and now every time I look at him, I just see a quitter kind of. I mean, obviously he's top of the game. This is just me being critical, but not about his fighting. Obviously, it's great fighting, but I don't know, the personality, the flavor I get in my mouth about him now it's like kind of like a quitter. His heart's not as in it anymore. And so, like, when he was giving his little victory speech, I was just like, I felt like I was listening to a guy that knew he got away with something, kind of. And then, at least with Sandhagen in his last fight, there was no question. Sandhagen made him quit. Yeah, he knocked him out. His brain quit. But in this one, close, almost with a minute left into the first round, Rob Font TKO'd him, got him on the ground, and there's some of the announcers like saying it was a late stoppage, and because I'm looking, so this is a weird thing too. Like, I'm looking at Marlon Moraes, he's on the ground, Font is on top of him, and he's throwing elbows and punches, and it's like Marlon. Because I was like, oh, is he knocked out? But then he kind of pulls his hands up like he's going to defend himself, but then he lets him back go. So it's like, I was like, is he like knocked out? And he came back, he came to, and then he got re-knocked out. Or this is me just having that taste in my mouth. Or was he just like, oh, I give up. The ref is going to stop it, but the ref didn't stop it because he didn't look cleanly out. so there was like probably 5 unanswered shots, maybe four or five unanswered shots, but it looked like because he went to his, he went down, he went to his back, then he looked like he was almost gonna defend, then he let his arms go, then he was gonna almost defend, then he let his arms go. So it was yeah, it was weird, but also he could have been knocked out, came to, then knocked out, then what I mean? That could have definitely could have been what was happening, but it also, like I said, maybe that's just the flavor I already have in my mouth about him of he's given up, that he was just like, oh, I'm down here, this dude is rocking me. All right, ref, you're gonna stop this, right? But the ref let it go for like 4 or 5 punches. But KO TKO, who knows? But yeah, I guess it sounds like I'm talking shit about him, but that's just me as a fan, as an observer watching it. Like, the dude's like what, 135 pounds? He could still probably beat me up. So it would kick me right in the leg and I'd fucking fall over and cry. But I'm just me as a fan looking and watching. That's what I'm seeing. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll come back, prove me wrong. I'll have to eat that crow. I'm not egg on my face. But next, Michelle Pereira and Chaos Williams. Michelle Pereira, I love it. He's exciting to fucking watch. And his first fight in the UFC, it's fucking this dude is like doing fucking backflip. Oh, my buddy Ethan was over. We did a hoogkinban Salon episode, naughty Mormon, nice Mormon kind of conversation, since he's a good Mormon and I don't know, an apostate. I don't know what you would call me, just a naughty boy. But so we've had different lives growing up, sort of in the same, raised to be in the same religion, but different results. But anyway, so he was over and we're watching the fight. I was telling him about Michelle Becerra and like his first fight. He was doing like fucking. He like does breakdancing and then he does capoeira and then he's fucking like doing the Showtime kick and doing backflips. I mean, I think it was that first fight where I can't remember who he's fighting, but the guy, he's on his back. He's on the ground on his back, and Pereira like turns around and he does a backflip. He like tries to backflip into mount or backflip into the dude's guard. Like, it was fucking crazy. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Why haven't I seen him before? And so he's fucking entertaining. I think his first 2 fights he's able to do that, and then the third one he gasses out. So he's doing all because he maybe that's what I'm thinking of, where he does the back flip into the dude's guard. But the first 2 fights he knocks the dude out. He's doing all his flashy shit and he knocks the dudes out. Then the third one, he's doing all his flips and fucking acrobatic shit, but he gasses out. So he doesn't get to knock out in that first round, and then he's gassed out, and then he squeaks through. I think he loses decision. Who was it? Nico Price? Fuck, I can't remember who it was. But anyway, so he loses, and then he comes back, and then he's a little more conservative. So his fights after that, because he was huge. He was like, I think it was like a huge upset, because he was like a huge favorite, betting favorite, and then the fight when he gasses out and loses. So after that, he's, you can tell he's been putting the work. I think they say he moved to Vegas, and now he goes to the Performance Institute and does like all his meals and dieting and training and medical stuff all there. So he's really been working on fixing his game. So coming in this fight, I knew with Cass Williams, and Cass Williams was like, I think he was like 10-1 or something coming to this, and his last 2 fights just starches the dudes in the fucking first 30 seconds of the fight. That last one was like he pumped like left feint, like a fucking jab, and just comes in with the right cross and puts the dude right to sleep. Just stiff starch, like the definition of starch in them, stiff. So coming in this, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good fight. And last fight of the year, so I'll make my one big bet on. So Cass Williams, I made my big bet on him. Also, he's part of my parlay, which was already fucked because of Greg Hardy. But I also made some straight bets on Chaos Williams because I was like, yeah, he's. I was like, Pereira, he's. Because I was like, he's either gonna do the flashy shit, gas out and get knocked out, or he'll be conservative like he has in his last one or two fights, maybe one fight, his last fight. He'll be conservative and he'll but he'll still. So I figured he'll either be over flat, he'll do too much and get tired and get knocked out, or he won't do enough and get knocked out. So I was like, that's the way I see this happening. Not what happened. Went all three rounds, and Pereira won the decision. And so this other thing too, that was impressive. So Cass Williams, he was getting in there, and Pereira was better. He was more diverse in his striking for sure, and so he was conservative in the first two rounds. For the first round for sure, most of the second round. In the second half of the second round, he kind of started opening up. You could tell he's getting a little loose, started feeling himself. And then the third round, he kind of threw a couple spinny things. So he was more diverse with his striking. Chaos Williams was a little cleaner, but he was throwing. He was more reserved, and he was kind of like he was trying to throw that knockout punch. And it wasn't like he was winging it every time. He was working on closing that distance because Pereira had a reach on him. So he's working on closing the distance and getting himself in range to throw that knockout punch. And there were 2 or 3 times where he landed clean on Pereira, and Pereira just ate it. I was like, oh fuck, Pereira has a fucking chin. So like anybody else, that would have been asleep. But I mean, and Cass Williams, he was doing for the most part, doing everything. I mean, my opinion, doing everything right because he was closing that distance and he was landing that fucking killer punch. But Pereira has just got a great fucking chin. We know that now. He ate 2 or 3 clean, flush fucking punches from Chaos Williams right on the chin, and he kept going. So, I mean, Pereira, like he's learning. You can tell like he came out in the first one just trying to be fucking Cirque du Soleil all over the place. Try to be my buddy Ed York, and check him out. He does some cool shit. If you get degrees, you go to Cirque du Soleil University or something. He did that shit. This dude is fucking ripped. But anyways, I'm just bragging about him because I feel like it's bragging about me. But stories about fucking him when not fucking him, but I would be so lucky, But when we lived together in fucking California, he was doing, I can't remember the kind of yoga it's called, but it's basically him like holding women up in the air, like hot yoga chicks, like holding them by their fucking ass and vagina and in the air, like doing different poses where I don't know what it's called or what it does, but it's like, he's like that, that straight cheerleader dude. So he used to hang out with all the hot chicks, and they all like confide in him and shit. But good for you, man. Good for you. But anyways, the point of that was that he graduated from Cirque du Soleil College or whatever university, and the point of that was saying that Michel Pereira is learning. So it came out flashy, fucking great. It worked for him for like 1 or 2 fights. But then he figured out once he doesn't get that knockout, that shit is fucking exhausting. He gasses him out. And if it goes to decision, then, it's up to the judges. So he learned from that, and he became more conservative. So, like, in this fight, he, first round, very conservative. Second round, conservative, but he started opening up. Third round, then he really opened up. And also, on top of that, not only is he learning, we have learned that he has a great fucking chin. He ate 2 or 3 straight punches from Chaos Williams. So, I'm excited to see. I mean, I was already excited to see, and I didn't like betting against him, but I was just like, I mean, Cass, he's gonna knock him out. He's gonna be able to get in there, either because of the exhaustion or because of him being conservative. But Cass Williams gonna be able to get in there and touch his chin, which he did, but it didn't have the effect I thought it would. So I'm excited to see. So yeah, and then yeah, went to decision. Pajeda won 2 rounds to 1, which I can't. I'm not mad at. I think that was from what I from stupid me, from dumb me watching. That's what I saw too. But yeah, I mean my yeah. Again, like my prediction of the technique of what was going to happen did happen, but the outcome I predicted wasn't the outcome. So, you know, I mean, it hurts, but I'm also not mad. And it's also good for Chaos Williams, because now he knows, maybe I'm not going to knock him out every time. What am I going to have to do to win, even if they're not going to go to sleep from me just getting in there. So definitely he needs I think he did get taken down. He didn't have anything to offer from his back. So that's something to work on. This is his ground game for sure. I mean, I can only imagine if he was able to, even just defensive jiu-jitsu, to be able to get back and get top of. Can you imagine him in full mount or even half guard dropping fucking elbows and hammer fists or fucking full mount punches right in the dude's face? Oof. So, I mean, yeah, I'm sure I'm sure he's pissed and fucking bitter about the decision, but hopefully he takes this and learns, and, you know, he's able to go forward, because, you know, fucking, he's still great to watch. I'm still excited to see him going forward. And like I said, I hated betting against Pajeda, but I'm also excited to see like I said, that we learned that he has a fucking chin. So he's going to be cool going forward. And I think he's like buddies with Johnny Walker too. I think that would be a cool fight to see, but I don't know if they'll, because they're like buddies or something. But I think Pajeda will fucking just fucking trounce, especially after watching that. Fucking man, just he can eat those punches and fucking do all that shit. Oh, exciting to see him going forward. Let's see. Oh yeah, so after that, fucking damn, already coming up an hour. Jose Aldo and Cheeto Vera. So obviously Aldo, former champ, he was like unbeaten for 11 years until that fateful day, not too long ago, I think 10 years ago, earlier in December, when the champ, or it wasn't the champ yet, but he fucking knocked him out in that one. And so Aldo's been going back and forth. He went down a weight class. He went down to bantamweight just to try to have a win. Then he had that, you know, fight with Moraes I was just talking about earlier. Then he got the title fight against Pure Yan, where he gassed out. He's looking great. Then he gassed out, and then Pure fucking just was. That was a late stoppage. He was fucking that fucking ref. That was hard to watch, because Pure was doing his job. He was fucking, but Aldo was done, and that ref was just like, I don't know. He had money on on him or something. He's get up, I'm losing money. But that's a joke. But so Cheeto and Aldo, this fight. So I was excited to see this, because the last fight that Cheeto had was against Sugar Sean O'Malley, who is one of my favorite fighters to watch, and also like his podcast. Check it out with him and his coach Tim Welch. They have great podcasts. They talk about their different routines, and then just kind of like lifestyle, holistic lifestyle type things on diet and awareness, the different books and podcasts they listen to or read and listen to, and they're just mindset on life. And they both have like I hate the term open relationship with their girls, or their women, their ladies, their women folk, but they have like an open communication relationship with them, where they you know, so it's basically they can just be themselves. So they're like, oh, I saw this girl that I thought was attractive. And their girlfriend's like, oh, yeah, well, go see if you can make something happen. And it's funny because a lot of stories are they're like, yeah, saw this hot chick and tried to give her a number and she shut me down. But, so, I mean, I can relate to that. That's why I think it's funny because it's like, well, and also it's cool to see that. So with in their relationships with their females that they're able to talk about anything, they're able to say anything. And they also admit they're like, yeah, everything I say we're not, you know, they don't like everything, but we're able to talk about it. And it goes the other way too. Like their girls, if they see a dude, they're like, oh, that dude, I want that dick or whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, and they can talk about it. So instead of having like a lot of people that kind of pretend like, oh, I'm in a relationship, no other people exist. Like that's fucking, you're just in this like agreed lie kind of thing. But anyways, saying all that to say that, yeah, so Sugar Sean, one of my favorite fighters, top 3 for sure, maybe number 1. Who do I like better than him? Oh, maybe Izzy, man, yeah, Izzy Adesanya, so he's right up there. Maybe they're tied. It's hard, I don't want to pick a favorite. But so yeah, Cheeto Vera, his last fight was with Sean O'Malley. And in that fight where Sean, he had a drop foot, he got kicked in the nerve or whatever, had drop foot, and Cheeto ends up on top. And Cheeto was acting like he fucking whooped his ass. And at the end, yeah, he was dropping elbows on his fucking face. Like, yeah, you can't argue that. It was, you know, TKO. But before that, Cheeto was fucking scared. You could tell he was scared. He was fucking reacting to every feint, and he didn't want to engage, and he didn't get like vicious until he realized that Sean was on the ground, and then he was on top of him. Then he was like, oh, it looked like a dog that like ran up on a snake, you know, because the dog is like big and kind of barking, but he's like real hesitant. He's not gonna go in there, not gonna go right in there and bite that snake because that snake is dangerous. So that's kind of like what it looked like to me. And he always looked like he was afraid of getting bit. And he also, so after that fight, Cheeto, after that fight, he, you know, he's talking, sort of talking shit, but I mean, he was on Food Truck Diaries, and he's like, oh yeah, I just, you know, I'm a great at kicking. I kicked him right in the leg, and that's you know, that's what I was, you know, mean to do. He needs to check kicks better. And yeah, I'm gonna say yes. And also, but also Faraz Zahabi talked about it, and then also Michael Chandler, that it's not a common thing, but it's a thing that happens, the drop leg, where you get hit right in that nerve and it puts your foot to sleep, and sometimes the fighter doesn't even know it, and because I've seen it where in Chandler talks about how it's happened to him, and Faraz Zahabi, I forget what fighters he talks about it happened to, but he said he's seen it happen, and they're like, you can tell them wobble, and they're just like, what the fuck, because they can't feel their foot, so it's just numb, they don't know what's going on. But sometimes then they're able to cover the feeling comes back. But for Sean in that fight, like you could see where he starts stepping funny, and then he fucking like rolls his ankle twice. So his foot's numb. He rolls it twice, and it's due to the kicks. Yes, due to the kicks. But a point that Sugar Sean brings up is like, yeah, I guess his plan going in there was to kick me right in the nerve and put my foot to sleep. So good on him for, you know, successfully doing that plan. But, you know, long story short, the drop foot, it came from Cheeto kicking him. So, and then he got on top of him and dropped the elbows right in his fucking face. So, you know, got him. It happened. That's, you know, that's fighting. That's what's bad and great about fighting. It's just shit happens, you know. You never know. Anyone can beat anyone. It's possible that something could happen. But the thing about it too is Cheeto's like, no, I'm not interested in a rematch. He's like all high about how, oh yeah, whooped his ass, but he's like, no, I'm not interested in a rematch. And I was like, fuck. Well, at first when it happened, I was like, fuck Cheeto. I want him to fucking his life to fall apart, blah blah blah. Then I saw his food truck episode, and saw his life story, and I was like, damn, this dude, he's just like a good dude. He's a dad. He fucking literally like the American dream. Came to America. He's working, and he got his family. Fuck, I wish I remember. Where's it? Venezuela? Ooh, my bad, dude. If it's not Venezuela, I think it's Venezuela. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, so wherever his family's somewhere else, not in America. He comes to the States and he has to win. He has to win his fights to be able to make the money to get his family to be able to come to the States. So then he's winning, and then also his daughter has like this condition where she's gonna need surgery, and they're looking at, so he has enough money to buy a house. So I think he gets enough money to get his family to the States, and then they're gonna buy a house. He has the money to buy a house like in cash, but his daughter also needs surgery. And he said he was like thinking about it, and he was like told his wife, he's like, yeah, he's like, I can't. He's like, we have to get the surgery for her. Man, I'm about to cry thinking about it. So we had to get the surgery for her, because he's like, I couldn't live with myself if I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this house, but then every day have to see his daughter struggling. Damn. So then they do that. He pays. He gets the surgery. Then he goes on, and then he keeps winning, and he's able to finally. He's about. Long story short, they get the house, they get the surgery, like he's taking care of his family. So it's like fuck. And then going into that fight with Sean O'Malley, I think he had like an asterisk loss against, I think it was Sonyedo, but it was a decision loss. He was pissed. He still got his bonus, I think, because he was pissed about it. And I guess Dana White went in the back and like he's like, yeah, you think you won. So going into that fight with Sugar Sean, he was coming off of that. So it's like, man, after seeing his story, I was like, damn, yeah, he's a good dude. He's just a dad. He's fuck. But I was like, I obviously I want Sean O'Malley to win. So I guess, long story longer, he going into that fight, it sucks that Sean O'Malley lost, but also it's kind of like Cheeto needed that win more than he did. Even though, he's 12-1 or 13-0, whatever he says, but it's 12-1. It was like he can recover from that loss better than Cheeto. So going into this, I was like, all right, I want to see Cheeto do well. And first I was like, fuck that guy. I hope he gets his ass beaten. I was like, he's just going to be in the prelims from now on, blah, blah, like all pissed off and shit. But going in, and then when I saw he got the fight with Aldo, I was like, oh man, so I'd like to see him do well, because I think that would also look better if he does well, for him being the only guy so far to beat Sean O'Malley. If he does well, and maybe eventually they can both, rematch at the top at some point, some kind of main event. And so with this fight with Aldo, because Aldo's kind of on his way down in a way, and he's a legend. So Cheeto getting the fight. So he was co-main last time, beat O'Malley, then co-main this time. I was like, if he beats Aldo, it's like, man, sky's the limit. But he didn't. He was kind of doing well. Then Aldo got him on the ground in that third round too. He controlled him on the ground. There was nothing he could. He just couldn't deal with. Aldo had him. He took his back, and he just couldn't get him off his back. And Aldo in the beginning, he threw like one or two leg kicks. And it was like, oh, please keep going, because that's what he used to be known for, those fucking nasty ass leg kicks. And he really hasn't been. Maybe he had an injury or something. I don't think it's come out, but no one knows. But he hasn't been throwing them like he used to. But he threw one. I was like, oh, he's gonna fucking break Cheeto's legs. But he only threw like one or two. But anyways, so the point of that was, now this opens up interesting that so Cheeto is not on the way up anymore, and he lost. Aldo's ranked. I think Aldo was like 7 or something. So it doesn't hurt Cheeto's ranking at all to lose to Aldo. But it puts him in a precarious situation now, because he's got that one loss and another one won't look good. But also, he's in that number 15 spot. So looking for future fights. So it's should be someone 14-1 or whatever. But he lost to Aldo, so I don't know. Does this like put some leverage for making that rematch with Sugar possible? I don't know. That would be cool though. But yeah, I guess Sugar's talking. He's been talking shit to Cody Garbrandt on the Twitters, and they've agreed to fight each other. We'll see if that happens. That would be a cool fight. Fuck, I'm over an hour, so I'm gonna hurry up. So that was Cheeto co-main event, then Wonder Boy and Jeff Neal, and yeah, Wonder Boy did the thing. Jeff Neal hands of steel. He wasn't able to get him, and Wonder Boy was fucking. He just showed why he's the Wonder Man, Wonder Adult. But it was great. It was a great fight to watch, as well. All 5 rounds. But Wonder Boy was just bop bop bop, piecing him up, dancing around, staying on the outside, tap 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 tap-a-roo, just on his face and body, tap tap tap-a-roo. So yeah, that was last UFC event for 2020. Got 3 weeks of no UFC events. Then January 16th, gonna be fucking Max Blessed Holloway and Calvin Kattar. Oh, excited. I mean, Holloway's gonna win, but it's still gonna be good. Ooh, it's gonna be good. Cause Kattar's a bad mama jamma, but Holloway's got that reach, got that cardio. He's working his way back to the tippity toppity, and but Kattar is fucking a beast. So it's gonna be good. I mean, could he win? Yeah, he definitely could. Is he going to? I don't think so. And that's not anything against him. That's just fucking how, like the things I said, how good Holloway is. His fucking volume, his cardio, his reach, his experience. I don't know if. Oh, Kattar did have a main event with Dan Ige. Did they go 5 rounds though? I think they went to the decision. Did they go to? I don't remember. But anyways, I mean, Holloway's been fucking main eventing since fucking, what is it, 212? I don't know. I can't remember. 2016, 15? I don't know. But anyways, yeah. Like I said, Kattar, could he win? Yes. Do I think he's going to? I don't. I don't think he's going to. Then after that, got Poirier McGregor, the 23rd of January. Oh, Poirier McGregor 2, or Prober, as fucking, what was that Paul kid said? Prober. And then after that, February 13th, I think Sugar's supposed to be fighting somebody in February. So I think he's going to be at Fight Island. That'll be cool. I like to see him in a bigger cage with more room to move around. I don't know. They haven't. I don't know who's fighting though. That'd be cool if it was Cody Garbrandt. That would be a good fucking fight. But let's see here. Then after that, 13 February says TBD v TBD. They have a picture of Macy Barber on there. Yeah. And then Amanda Nunes and Megan Anderson. I think it's supposed to happen in March, and I'm excited to see Amanda Nunes, and I'm excited to see Megan Anderson, but I'm not excited to see them fight each other. I mean, Megan Anderson, I mean, I guess they don't have people for Nunes to fight at 145, and I mean, Megan Anderson's fun to watch, super hot, fucking long, tatted, and fucking Australian. But, I mean, her fights in the UFC, they haven't really, I don't know. I mean, maybe she'll pull it off, but it's kind of like that whatever. I'm not gonna talk shit on it. I'm just saying that I'm excited to see either one of them fight, but I'm not really excited to see them fight each other. And then I guess the Lioness's wife, Nina Ansaroff, is going to be fighting Mackenzie Dern. Oof. Oh, man. I mean, for me, I'm thinking Mackenzie Dern's going to get that one, but we'll see. That's coming up. And then I wanted to talk about the Chael Sonnen Submission Underground was this past weekend. Weekend as well. Fucking... Oh, yeah, because I mentioned it earlier. So I'll just, real quick, just the highlights of it. So, Bader beats Rumble, and he looks strong. So this is interesting. I mean, I guess Rumble's going to Bellator now at light heavyweight, and Bader's the heavyweight champ. So I guess maybe that's... but Bader was just pushing Rumble around. He was just pushing him around. Cowboy beat RDA twice. So it was like they Cowboy won, but RDA, it was a weird thing where RDA was trying to push. He was pushing trying to clear Cowboy's knee, but he tapped it. It looked like a tap twice, so the ref called it. So he said it was a tap. And RDA was like, no, I wasn't tapping, and he's Cowboy and just chew Cowboy. On brand, he's like, well, yeah, let's just run it back. Let's do it. He's like, we'll do it again. The ref's like, no, that's not how it works. But then they come back, and I guess they had made a gentleman's agreement in the back. And after the main event, they come back and they run it back. They do the overtime again, and Cowboy wins again. I believe he armbars him. He taps him out. So I mean, he wins. So yeah, just fucking that's Cowboy. But let's see. So Amanda Lowen, she beat Felicia Spencer, who had fought Amanda Nunes at 250, UFC 250. But so Amanda Lowen becomes the first female champ for submission underground. She had this deep arm. It was beautiful arm bar. One where she had just tucked into her hand tucked under her armpit. But it was cool. And then the big thing. Oh yeah, also Craig Jones beats Brent Primus. Brent Primus, I guess, called him out, and Craig Jones just fucking steamrolled him. And then Mason Fowler beats Ishii. Taps him out. I guess Ishii's gold medalist, Olympian, or world champion, something like that. But this dude looks big as fuck. He's a jacked looking dude, but Mason Fowler. Oh yeah, so if you don't watch grappling at all and you want to see some fucking cool grappling, watch Mason Fowler. Because watching him, and it's like, because when he's grappling, you can see he's using every piece of his body. He knows where every piece of his body is positioned in accordance to his competitor opponent's body, and even just the positioning of where he's setting his feet down to the angle of his knees to control the position of his opponent's body to keep their hips in line, or even I think when he does tap him, so he's in the arm bar, he's going for arm, so his left arm hooked under Ishii's right arm, and Ishii's got his hands locked together trying to defend the arm bar. So Mason's pulling with his left arm, trying to pull the arm free. Then he's got his right arm hooked into Ishii's leg, so he's folded him that way. And then he takes his foot and he lifts his foot and uses his foot to push to break Ishii's grip. So his two hands are engaged. He uses his foot to push Ishii's hand free, and that pulls. And then he's able to crank the arm bar from there. So it's incredible watching this guy, because it's impossible to describe in words. You gotta watch it. Just look at the way, and even when he's on Ishii's back and Ishii's trying to escape from back control, he rolls to one side and he'll put his foot down and angle his foot to maintain, and he's just perfectly balancing Ishii's hips, and keeping himself in line, or he's got his legs set up, and then you can see him make these tiny little incremental movements with his heels, just tiny little movements, just what he's changing the position and the pressure of his legs and his knees. So it's while he's working the top, you can see he's working the bottom. Like every piece of his body is continuously moving. It's crazy. It's like he knows exactly where his body is and where his opponent's body is, where the weight is supposed to be balanced and the pressure points of pressure are at and where they're gonna be. And he's like a fucking. It's like a. I don't even know. It's like a. I wasn't say like a blob that moves, but he's like a blob of steel. He's fucking. It's crazy. But anyways, Mason Fowler, check him out. But anyways, I think that. Oh. Yeah, and Hamzat and Hamzat Chimaev and Leon Edwards. I guess they're planning that for January 20, but we'll see. Looking forward to that one for show. But anyways, almost an hour and a half now. That's it. Thank you, and fuck you very much. Bye.